Now,
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It is 5:06. It's Friday morning. Thanks for tuning into O'Connor and Company. So thrilled to be here as we, oh my gosh, it's a Friday. It's a Patrice Onwuka Day. Patrice,
Yes,
good morning.
it is. Good morning, Larry.
And have you looked at the calendar today?
We are 1 week away from Black Friday. Is that what you're thinking?
Okay, I don't know why everything is race with you, Patrice. I'm just constantly just hammering me over the head with that, but sure, okay. You just fly your black flag there. Next week is Thanksgiving week.
It is, yes. That's exciting, too.
Cannot believe it. I love the big sale. You're such an economist. You're such a you're all about the commerce.
Well,
you're such
I'm
a
thinking
capitalist.
7 days from today. 7 days from yesterday would be Thanksgiving.
7 days from today, I'll be waking up and having a cold turkey sandwich for breakfast. That's a
do you put
beautiful thing.
all the trimmings on it, the
betcha.
mashed potatoes and the gravy? And
I don't put the potatoes on the sandwich. I put the stuffing on the sandwich.
Oh, okay. Oh, that
And then
sounds
it's
good.
Anyway, coming up at 7:05, Adam Credo, latest on Iran and Israel. 7:35, Phil Wegman, our pal over there at the White House. Love that guy. 7:15, Julie Donaldson on the Commanders game this weekend. And then at 8:35, Brett Baer will join us. And Patrice, I'm ready. I've been in the holiday spirit since August, basically. I need Christmas in my life, especially this year. But it is kind of fun knowing that we're going into this last weekend before Thanksgiving. The week of Thanksgiving really is just sort of like we're all in on the holidays now.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, it's a short work week. You got to love that.
That's right. And then all the holiday travel, just
All
seeing
the
people
travel.
going in and out of town.
And you got your Thanksgiving Day, obviously.
Yes.
And the great thing about Thanksgiving Day, all the football games and all the movies and all the television specials, it's all like already pointing toward Christmas. It's like that morning you got your parade, but even the Thanksgiving parade is about Christmas ultimately.
Who caps off that parade? But no one else but Santa Claus.
That would be the Kris Kringle man, St. Nicholas. So very excited. So that's what we got to focus on things. You got for instance, the Onwuka household is relatively infamous now in Prince George's County.
I wouldn't say
for your outdoor Christmas displays. And will there be any innovations to this year's Christmas displays?
Well, we've been talking. We did add a crush. So we have Jesus, we have Mary and Joseph and the star. So that's a new addition.
Does Jesus glow from the inside?
Is he an
electrified Jesus?
He is electrified, and we will be lighting him up even more.
There you go. I love that.
But our Santa sleigh will unfortunately not make it this year. Maybe we'll put him on the back porch, but yeah.
Why?
Well, we don't want to compete. Santa does not compete with Jesus. Not in our front yard.
Oh, I see. So if Jesus is there, Santa takes a back seat.
Santa's in the back. Literally.
You could put him on the roof.
Well, then somebody's gonna have to climb up to the roof, and I'm not.
We know who that'll be.
And I don't want my husband to fall off. So.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you're keeping. So Jesus will be in the front yard. You will not be hiding your light under a bushel.
No. No.
Very good. Nor should you. Well, that's exactly. Now, when do you begin the award winning? Because you have literally won prizes. You have you were noted in your
bragging
neighborhood.
rights. Just bragging rights. But yeah, we are going to be back in the competition. I really want to place again this year.
If I remember right, though, you have never placed at the top of the podium.
No. We came in third place the first time, and we weren't even trying. We just threw some decorations up.
Was it
and
some
we came
transgender dude who decided to usurp your role there? Was this like a Leah Thomas situation?
Well,
that we should know about?
I think that last year there was somebody who really ordered a lot from Temu and some of the Chinese, website.
Oh, of
course. They threw up Christmas on their front yard, and
See.
we're not going. We do tasteful, not tacky.
That's right.
So.
I think you should stick with that.
Yeah, we're going to do tasteful.
Taste will always win out. Can you imagine having to deal with one of those neighborhood Christmas decorations awards competitions like you get into every year, Patrice, and you're living in Liberace's neighborhood or something, right?
Ooh,
It's
yeah.
it's impossible. Who
Yeah.
can compete with that?
Yeah.
Nobody can. Just keep it classy. Keep it tasteful.
Exactly.
You'll always win. Now, are you going to have a African-American gay transgender Santa in a wheelchair appearing?
Absolutely not.
Any
That
of the
sounds
territory?
absolutely horrible. Absolutely. Well, no, it doesn't. It is not appropriate for our house. I'll put it that way. I won't call it horrible for somebody else. That might be their thing. That's not our jam.
Target is bending over backwards with their Christmas decorations this year to be inclusive, and Christmas is inclusive.
It is.
Everyone should feel like they're welcome at Christmas.
Yeah.
So they are literally a little overboard. In fact, I think I was paraphrasing a Babylon Bee version of it, but it's not too far from the truth here. I'm looking at a shelf full of black Santas in wheelchairs that you can purchase as Christmas tree ornaments, because all of the black children in wheelchairs haven't felt like Christmas is really about them until now. Think about all of the black children who are disabled, who have always woken up on Christmas morning sad and upset because Santa doesn't look like them. That you have to actually be that mentally broken to believe this, to think that it's necessary for Target to do this. But here we are.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're trying to go after inclusivity. There's a company that I guess it's like the leading provider of Christmas ornaments, and they have released this line of inclusive Christmas ornaments. I mean, gay flags on the nutcrackers, soldiers. I mean,
which, by the way, actually more than that. It's not just it's a transgender flag.
I'm looking at a flag. You're right.
I'm looking at a nutcracker right now
with
a transgender flag. And if you think about the bottom surgery involved in transgender surgeries, nutcracker is appropriate, I think.
Yeah.
In fact, they might rebrand the whole thing.
Listen.
It looks like Jimmy's going to have to go in for the nutcracker procedure.
And the fact that it's a nutcracker, but I'll leave that there. I just think that come December 23rd, when all of the other shelves, like there are traditional Santas on the shelf right underneath the black Santa in the wheelchair. Yeah. Come December 23rd, every other shelf is going to be empty. All of the other ornaments will be gone. Mark my words, I don't see the Santas in the wheelchair, the black Santas in the wheelchair, the nutcrackers. I just don't see them as big sales. I really don't. And Target, another miss here for you.
I think quite the opposite. I think you should dedicate your tree to nothing but woke, inclusive ornament. This is the kind of thing that Matt Foldy's Jewish, but if he were celebrating Christmas, Matt Foldy would do this. He would go to Target and buy every single one of the most inclusive, radical, left-wing Christmas ornaments. Just so everybody knows, as we go, there goes those crazy right-wingers complaining about it. We're not complaining. We're laughing at it.
Yeah.
Because to suggest that Christmas up until this moment has been in some way discriminatory and exclusive is so outrageous and despicable and insulting to every single human being who has had a lovely Christmas up until this time. No matter what their race, no matter what their sexual proclivities are, no matter what their physical abilities are. If you felt like you weren't included in Christmas, yell at your parents. Don't yell at the store for not selling a Christmas ornament. Well,
and so here's the thing about things like Christmas. I mean, Christmas is meant to appeal to every person of every creed. You don't have to be white to embrace Santa. You don't have to be black to embrace Santa. And this idea that, somehow if he doesn't look like me, he doesn't, he has to in every single way look at like it misses the point of Christmas. And frankly, the point of Christmas is Jesus, and Jesus appealed to everyone, Jew and Gentile alike. He wasn't looking at skin color. He wasn't looking at if you were on a bed. If you were on a bed and couldn't walk, he said, "Come on, get up." And he helped you, and he actually got you up. So I think it is trying to dig deep in an area that it seems like, just make it about Christmas, and that's it. And people can embrace Christmas, no matter what they look like or what, physical condition they're in.
Thank you. I mean, listen, I am a Christian. I am a Catholic. One of my heroes, one of the greatest thinkers. You don't have to be Catholic, by the way. Christians, Protestant Christians love St. Augustine. St. Augustine is one of the greatest Christian thinkers of all time. He's African. And I embrace him. I'm in love with his brain and with his theology, and these things transcend race, you morons. All right, that said, we have an interesting, fascinating story that I'm sure isn't related to anything that we've just laid out there. Apparently, Christmas sales are going to be down this year. Target is going to suffer some Downslides.
They
I'm
haven't
sure it
learned
has
yet.
nothing to do with the transgender nutcracker that's available at your disposal. We'll give you all those details in a moment. But first, it's 5:16. If you're getting out there for early Christmas shopping, get on the roads now because Jamie Witten's got you covered in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
This morning on the Chris Plant Show, Democrats plan on shutting down New York City today because they love Hamas and their kids love bin Laden. 9 a.m. on WMAL.
You see, Patrice, it's a nutcracker, and it's holding the transgender flag. Transgender nutcracker. You see what we're saying here?
Yeah, well, it doesn't miss me.
I wasn't too far off, though. The Babylon Bee headline, Target releases trans-Muslim Chinese quadruple amputee Santa.
I mean, at this point, you might as well go that far.
And of course, here's Newsweek with your typical headline, Target sparks conservative outrage over woke Christmas. We're not outraged. We're laughing at them.
But like, have you
Nobody's
not
outraged.
learned? Have you not learned your lesson yet? But apparently they have not learned their lesson. Whoever
Nobody's
the DEI
outraged.
person is who's in the purchasing department, they're still in their job. So obviously.
Let's be clear. We're not mad at you. We're laughing at you. We were outraged when you were pushing bathing suits with a tuck option for male genitalia for little 7-year-old boys. Yes, that we were outraged about that. We were outraged when you hired an artist to create your pride shirts whose main claim to fame was literally Satan worship.
Yes.
Yes, that
That's
was
outrageous.
worth outrage.
Yeah.
This is not outrage. This is absolute complete mockery.
It is of Christmas.
Meanwhile, Patrice, maybe these two stories are related. Target is warning right now about a huge sales slump right before the anticipated final big boon for all retailers, the big Christmas season. They're having huge struggles over at Target, aren't they?
They are. So Target is saying, listen, this year we're expecting sales to, we've seen a slump in the last quarter of retail sales, and we're expecting that it's going to be a slow holiday shopping season. And I think they're attributing it obviously to inflation. Inflation is still high, the high interest rates, and the resumption of student loan repayments. So consumers are being stretched, and frankly, their real income, which is like what they actually take home after inflation is considered, it's barely above zero. And so that means that there's just not a lot of extra discretionary money this year for Christmas presents. And I'm guessing for the LGBTQ
Right.
nutcracker and the Santa ornaments.
For all the paraphernalia to make your Christmas
Exactly.
an inclusive one or a woke one at the very least. Yeah, Target's, I think you mentioned Target's stock has dropped 36% over the past year, and it's not going to get that bounce and rebound that they were hoping for. Now, that's obviously because of the economy at whole. One will see, though, if part of the backlash that Target feels over going woke will also contribute to that. Will Christmas spending be down overall, or will it just be down in those arenas where they can't afford to alienate any of their customers, such as what Target has done here? We'll see. But either way, it will be interesting this Christmas season to see if Joe Biden, because this is Joe Biden's last chance to try to rebound the economy and rebound retail sales for his presidential election year.
Well, and we're seeing from other retailers like Hasbro, Mattel, some of these toy makers, they're expecting a weak holiday season as well here. We're seeing, they're anticipating that families just don't have a lot of discretionary income, a lot of money. So Barbie dolls, Transformers, all of those things are at the top of the wish list, and those might go. But when you're spending $25 for a Barbie, that's $25 that you can't put in your gas tank right now. So I think it's going to be slow. We'll see what the National Retail Federation has to say. I'm just jumping over to their website, and they're expecting spending levels will be high this year, probably driven by inflation. So things cost more, and so you do end up spending more as a result.
By the way, consumer groups have sort of tried to chart what the top toys the kids are going to demand this year are going to be. And look at this: Barbies, Transformers, and Hot Wheels. We could be doing a morning radio show in 1983.
Yes.
And it would be the exact same thing.
Barbies,
it's Transformers, and Hot Wheels.
Because those are toys my brothers and I played with. My sons are playing with Transformers, and they love Hot Wheels. No, they're not playing with Barbie dolls.
You don't have any daughters. You know what? We should check with Heather Hunter, who has two fabulous daughters. Who,
Yes.
by the way, I happen to know for a fact are really into Barbies. Have they raised the price of Barbies because of the Barbie movie? Yeah, they have.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm getting the nod.
Yep.
Yeah. So because of that damn movie now, if your kids like Barbies, you're going to have to spend more for it. Of course. It's 5:23. The other interesting thing about this year's Christmas shopping is the changing habits, Patrice, of course, of
yes.
people buying online versus even going to the store and seeing the Muslim, Chinese, transgender Santa in a wheelchair. Because I don't even see that anymore. Honestly, last year we actually reached a milestone where every single thing that we purchased for Christmas was online.
Really? Wow.
Meredith and I did not go to the store once for one thing other than
interesting.
food, just food.
Well, and so last year we purchased a lot of things online. I have found, and this is a great trick when you have kids and family members and relatives that live far away. I love to create those online wish lists. Put everything in that wish list, send it out to family so I don't have to say, I get the inevitable, what do the boys want for Christmas? Here's a great list. You can buy everything on it. And then when it's taken off, then we don't have to worry, about them
no
getting
duplicate.
5 of the same toys
Right.
and
100%.
none of what they want.
We do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
We always have our Christmas in Oklahoma, middle of the country, center of it all, with Meredith's family, my family now, of course.
Yeah.
And we purchase everything online. Everything gets shipped there. When we get to Oklahoma, usually like 2 days before Christmas, there is a room full of boxes.
Oh, wow. That's
that
fun.
Meredith cloisters herself in for about
That is
12
fun.
hours straight, a wrapping fest. And she all the doors are locked, and she wraps everything that has been drop shipped to our family's home in Oklahoma, and it makes life a lot easier. And you don't have to deal with all the crowds and all the parking. and all
But there
those
is
things.
something just fun about walking through the aisles and seeing all the people and the shopping
Totally.
bags. That is a missed experience. So I love that you're seeing online retail take off, and it's great. And government shouldn't mess with it, by the way.
Yes.
But there is something about piling the kids up in the car, getting hot chocolate, and going to the mall.
100%. We do that still. We just don't go to buy anything. We just go for the experience. We go for the experience. All right. Well, this is it. It starts now.
Yes.
In fact, you'll be hearing us talking about a lot of Black Friday sales for a lot of our favorite partners here on WMAL, who you hear about all the time during our news segments. The people who keep us going here on WMAL, and they've all got special holiday deals too. So listen for that. It's 5:30.
WMAL FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.
Now,
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It's 5:36. Thanks for joining us on this Friday before Thanksgiving week. We're already hyped up and in the holiday spirit, as you can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
6:35, we'll speak with Denisha Allen, American Federation for Children, and from Black Minds Matter, talk about the teachers' unions right now, how they are failing the students of Maryland. I know you care deeply about that.
Oh, yeah.
Patrice says
And she's
I do.
great. I love her.
7:05 is Adam Credo of the Free Beacon. 7:35, Phil Wegman of Real Clear Politics. 8:15, Julie Donaldson about the Commanders game. We should have a victory this weekend.
Okay.
And at 8:35, Brett Baer of Fox News Channel. How about that, Patrice?
What a great lineup. Can't wait.
Good answer. What's going on with Congress this week? I know that most of the drama, of course, right now is centering around George Santos, the freshman from New York, who's already said he's not running for re-election, this
Yes.
guy. But apparently there's been an ethics report now about George Santos's behavior.
House Ethics Committee released a report yesterday. Salacious is an understatement for some of the ways that George Santos used campaign money for his own personal expenses. Can I just get into some of these, Larry?
Sure.
All right, here we
Now
go.
go slow. I might have witty rejoinders on each one.
Okay, here we go. So he spent some funds were going to the adult content website OnlyFans.
I got nothing on that one.
Okay.
I mean, unless he was going to support a Democrat who was running for office in Virginia. Maybe he was just checking out what
What
Democrat
she was doing on OnlyFans.
Yes, you got to look at campaign tactics from the other side. We know that. So let me just real fast. I'm supposed to be outraged that George Santos used campaign money to visit a porn site, but I'm supposed to embrace and celebrate a Democrat who raised her campaign money by performing on a porn site. Okay, I just want to know what the rules are.
That's the left's rules. That's not my rules. I say
no, they're
both
not your rules.
Both are not. All right, let's see. He paid down some personal credit card debt. It's good to pay down debt, but not with campaign money.
Let me tell you something. When the ethics report came out about that, I assure you that probably 300 or 400 other congressmen looked around and said,
like,
"Oh,
oops.
are we not allowed to do that?" Wait a minute, what?
He spent $4,000 at Hermes. So he's got some good taste there, some high class taste.
Well, isn't it typical for campaigns to use their funds to sort of pay for, because you have to look good on camera, you have to look good at campaign events. That's kind of a thing, don't
But
women?
you can look good with a belt from Target.
So
a rainbow-colored belt from Target rather than a $4,000.
So the ethics rules actually lay out what stores you're supposed to buy from?
That I can't confirm that. Maybe one of our listeners can. Okay. I'm just telling you what he purchased.
Gotcha.
He purchased money. He purchased makeup items from Sephora, meals and parking. Okay, that can be understandable. He spent about $1,500 for a Botox expenses at an aesthetics company. So to the point, he wanted to make sure he was looking good on camera, youthful. That youthful glow that we see, now we know why he doesn't have frown lines on his forehead.
He does look younger than I thought he would. But I would, if this is the new measure, that we should be outraged that a politician used campaign money for Botox. Could we please do an audit of the Nancy Pelosi campaign funds?
Oh, that would be interesting. That would be interesting. He racked up some serious expenses in a 2-day trip to Atlantic City, to Las Vegas as well. So we're talking about a couple of millions of dollars worth of a couple $100,000 that it was transferred from the campaign to like a holding company and then into his personal bank account for a lot of reasons, for a lot of things that may or may not be related to actual campaign expenses.
So listen, I carry no water for George Santos. Honestly, I don't care. I do care about hypocrisy and double standards. I'm less concerned about how George Santos spent his campaign money than I am about how politicians raise their campaign money and where that money comes from and what strings are attached to that money. And while we're going through all of the things that George Santos spent his money on, could we spend maybe a minute and a half of Congress's time on what Hunter Biden spent his money on?
Oh, we know it was a lot of, I don't know about the Botox, but we know that he spent a lot of money at sex clubs.
There were other chemicals involved,
I
think,
things
on that shopping list, not Botox.
Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, Democrats are calling for George Santos to resign. Yeah, as you already said, he's not going to seek re-election, but he's going to serve out his term. I think you're not going to hear too much from the conservative camp, but the fact that the House Ethics Committee, led by Republicans, has released this report is pretty damning. And so I think that's where the situation is right now.
Okay, so the report is out, and they made all of this public so that they get the headlines and they get the goofy little radio segments like we're doing right now. But is he being punished for anything? Did he actually break a law? Did he do anything wrong?
Well, that has yet to be seen.
Well, it says here the Ethics Committee said it's referring the findings to the Justice Department, but it's not making any recommendations one way or the other.
That tells you everything then.
So what do we got here?
Like make George look bad kind of situation.
Yeah. Okay. So let's have every other congressperson go through this entire process so we can see how they spend money. How many? And last I checked, half of the Democrats in leadership put their family members on their campaign payrolls. Right. I mean, is that any better than spending money at Vegas? I mean, again, and I'm not trying to equivocate. Yeah. It's just like I hate when there are two standards and there are two rules. And more importantly, we should be more concerned that Congress passed this continuing resolution so that the government can stay open. And then they didn't follow up with another bill that said, if we had votes in the Senate, here's how we would actually fix our budget problem. Republicans ran on this idea that they were going to fix the economy and they were going to stop spending. Let's see that budget. And, we don't have the votes in the Senate. I don't care. You pass it out of the House so the American people can see exactly where we stand. And they didn't do that. That, frankly, I find that more disconcerting.
Well, we've got it. Well, and I think that moves us to the next topic, which is, okay, Congress is out for Thanksgiving recess, but they still have a lot on their plate that's uneaten, and namely the appropriations bills. All right, so you've got a dozen appropriations bills for how the government needs to spend its money that still need to be passed. And that's gonna take some time, and I think we're up against a mid-January deadline for the first part of the stopgap bill to be finished. So, this is not done.
Consider that can kicked down the road.
Yeah,
it's 5:43. Well, this is going to shock no one. Joe Biden is expected to skate away from the classified document investigation without any charges filed against him. This is according to initial reports that have been leaked to the Wall Street Journal. Special Counsel Robert Hur will not file any charges related to the mishandling of classified documents at 2 locations because, I'm lost on that. I don't have any reason here. It makes no sense to me other than, we know the reason. He had documents since the 70s, documents that as a senator he should have never been able to take away from their secured location on Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
He had them for decades. They were in a garage next to his Corvette.
Yes.
And within the reach of his crackhead son who was doing business with foreign entities, enemies of our nation. He has no charges. President Trump, who was a president, so he had access to all these classified documents and was able to declassify anything he wanted. He had documents for a couple of months in a secured, locked-down location and was cooperating with the federal government and the archives with regard to what documents might be coming back to Washington for archival purposes. And he got a morning raid at his home with FBI agents, guns drawn, and he's now facing over hundreds of years of charges.
Yeah.
So you explain the difference to me because I certainly can't.
Well, obviously, the difference is that President Biden is a Democrat and President Trump is a Republican. And it absolutely speaks to the unequal justice that these two presidents are experiencing on a very similar situation here. Joe Biden, apparently this report that's going to be released before the end of the year. Oh, how convenient that timing. It's going to wrap up nice and neat with a bow by the end of the year. That it's expected to make the president and his team, those around him, his advisors, kind of look bad. They're I guess it's gonna be a little bit of a finger wagging. Oh, you didn't put those boxes away correctly.
Yeah.
But no charges are expected to be filed, and it's gonna be kind of like a big nothing burger. Whereas, right at the end of the year, going into the rest of the campaign season, then it won't be hanging over President Biden's head. That's what this looks like. I can't paint another picture.
There is no other picture. Yeah, the New York Post says it best. President Biden and his longtime aides will likely face harsh criticism.
Ooh.
Yes, there will be harsh criticism, and there will be a lengthy report detailing what they uncovered about the mishandling of classified documents. This is James Comey giving the press conference about Hillary Clinton all over again, where he lays out all of the crimes that she committed and then ends it with, that said, we're not going to bring any charges because, that would just be wrong. And that's where we are. That's where it'll end. The difference there is that it was the FBI director who made the decision, which he never should have made. It should have gone to a U.S. attorney. Here we do have a U.S. attorney making that decision, but it's still the wrong decision. Or, at the very least, it's an unjudicial decision. If justice is to be meted out fairly in this country, then the same decision that you make for President Biden should be the same decision you make at President Trump. The only difference is, again, I want to reiterate, Trump was a president when he had the possession of classified documents.
Yeah.
Biden was either a senator or a vice president, and they do not have the same rights and the same abilities on those documents.
Interestingly, the Justice Department is going to make Mr. Hur available for answers from congressional lawmakers. So I guess they're expecting that we're going to have some hearings, and a benefit of Republicans being in control is that we will have some oversight hearing. But at most, you'll hear some clips that will play on WMAL afterwards. But that's about it. That's about what we get out of this entire situation.
Great, wonderful.
Yeah. Right.
And this is supposed to instill more confidence in the with the American people that we have a judicial system that doesn't have two tiers, that doesn't have two rules, that doesn't have separate levels of scrutiny.
That's politically motivated. Politically motivated.
Yeah. And I would love for this U.S. attorney, when explaining why he didn't bring charges, to say under oath, well, this would be highly political. And here's the amazing thing. Her probably has made the right decision here. It probably is the correct decision in this environment, and given the law and given the rules, that charges not be brought against Joe Biden. The problem is Jack Smith didn't reach that same conclusion when scrutinizing Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And when her is pressed on that, or if Merrick Garland is pressed on that issue, they will be able to weasel out of it and say, well, you'll have to ask Mr. Smith about that. They had complete independence. They could come up with their own conclusion. That's not the point. Independent U.S. attorneys investigating what is a crime and what is not a crime should reach the same conclusion. Otherwise, we don't have a system of justice in this country, because the system of justice is meted out based on the whims of an individual and their opinion of the law instead of what the law clearly states. And that's the problem.
Well, because, the merits of the case, the actual facts seem so, they're so clear that it's hard for a layperson to understand how these prosecutors could come to such different positions, right? Yeah. You mentioned it, Larry. An open garage with classified documents stacked up next to a Corvette, a closed, secure location in a private. It's hard to understand.
It's outrageous and impossible for the American people to make sense of, other than shooting it through the lens of highly partisan, despicable politics, and that's what it is. It's 5:53.